Hi, this is Duchess Robinson, and today I want to discuss pretty much what I spoke about in our last podcast. Why did I change my logos or things of that sort? So let's get into it really quick. And this is a different business type of podcasting. This is the inner working of my mind and how I think and what I believe and what I feel, and specifically tailored to just my own business. Basically, I've literally made myself my own client. So I've been rocking with let's look at the Duchess Robinson logo really quick. And it's basically a D and an R. And I've done with the purple, gray, and like a green color logo. It's been everywhere. And I just felt like that logo, why I changed it, the coloring, it wasn't enough to push and for people to recognize. And pretty much a logo, simplistic or basic, it wasn't enough. And I knew it wasn't enough. It was just something quickly to put it out, to just say, I have a website, I have a logo, and just something that I just had. And now, as I'm working on my own branding, I've literally changed the colors, and I've literally changed the design into almost like a script. And the reason why I did a script, because it would be noticeable, and the color is different. A lot of people have the purple color, but this dark wine color that I've grabbed, the emotional response from it is just different. And when I look at that color itself, and speaking as an artist and everything else like that, it has a mix of a light and a dark to it, and a level of just a sexy, different brand type of color. I could have chosen different, but I just wanted to be different. I wanted that color to invoke more of, what is this? This is not your typical tech person or developer or anything. It is meant to throw anybody off when they look at it. When they look at the website, when they look at the podcast, it is really meant to show there's different layers to me. And to anybody, I'm not going to say that I have darkness, but I do have a dark, I do have like comedic side. Like, I will laugh at something really weird, and I'm into that. I have that light where all children and puppy and animals are like that. I have that, and then I have that bass middle tone where I say, okay, easy going and just smooth and conversation when I talk to people. So it invokes a lot of my personality. Number one, no, I'm not a wine drinker, if you want to know. Not really a wine drinker. Just the conversations that I want to have, it's different. I'm just different, and I'm happy with being different. Just mysterious, and the color is all is mysterious. I mean, I'm even mysterious in my own family. There's so many people that think I'm this one person, and they don't even know that I'm this other person. Only because that is the mysteriousness of me, and I keep to myself. Even when my mother and grandmother passed, people thought, well, we really gonna know who she is now. No, I'm just the same person, and y'all still don't know who I am. So, so those are just different elements when I think of changing. And of course, I know the quintessential. Okay, your logo is supposed to spark your. We're always reinventing ourselves, and there's nothing wrong with reinventing yourself. If you look, Google has changed its logo multiple times. Slightly with certain things, it's still Google, but they've changed it ever so slightly. Facebook has changed their layouts multiple times, but it's still. You always have to understand reinventing yourself. You don't have to do it as dramatic as I have with different logos, but there is a level of creating what you need to create as a business person. Development. I am my own client now, so I see that I want to push podcasts and information off more. I see that I want to push the podcast and the conversation along with some other elements of things that I have built, platforms that I've built for other people, and just really getting to know who I am. I'm literally, how can I say it? I'm really at the point now where all of the information that I've given to business owners and they decided not to follow, I'm following my own path to make sure that the information that I'm giving to people is correct. And where I am now, I have superseded me personally, not what I do. I kind of follow the Chinese, where it's not you, it is more of the business that people focus on. But at this point now, because I'm transitioning from being a business to business person and more or less just following my own network and business and products, and basically, when I go to reach out externally to other people, they will already have a handbook of what is needed and how it's needed and how it's set up, because I do, as a business owner, understand it because I had to do it for other people. And I felt, and this is very honest, I felt as that person to help other business was not as successful as I would like. Only because my personality is not where I need to be seen, and I have to be in the forefront of things. And I know if that was the case, this wouldn't be. But I have not come out of that comfort zone, which eventually I will have to. But before I do that, I want to make sure that my platform is set up specifically for that, because I'm truly the understand the marketing model that I follow for myself. If identified and found, I want to make sure when you get there to that identified, and when I'm found, I want to make sure you understand my whole platform, my voice, my communication, what I do, why I do, how I do. I want that in place, because if you have it in place and you have an easier go at what you need to go at. The most significant and the most productive and the most successful business is a complex situation made simple and plain. Even when a situation of being in the church, and a minister can take a complex scripture and turn it simplicity so you'll understand and it sticks with you. And that's pretty much where I am setting up my own business model. And I have tried for other people, but it wasn't to that point. But I really want to push, where people don't have to say, oh, she was joking. If I can get into politics a little bit quickly, I'm not really a Donald Trump fan, and I really don't like his politics, but I will tell you something else. His conversation and his brand is very strong. I don't care what it is. There is a strong dislike or it's a strong love. There's nothing in the middle there. And he knows who he wants to market to and who he doesn't want to market to. That's about the only compliment I can really give him. But hey, it is what it is. If some people don't like it, okay, well, it is what it is. So that's where my mind is focused on, really clear. I'm pretty much trying to pull out of, because it's just been annoying over the years. When you see something you see as an artist, and that's the worst thing, being an artist and a graphic designer. What does that mean? A visual artist at heart, style and technique are very sensitive about their work. And as a graphic designer, you're designing something for someone else. So meshing those two things together, I see something that I think would work for your business or your brand, and we want to go with this because this is the aim. And I'm sitting there looking at you like that's not going to work. So I've learned over the years to pull myself away from that. Okay. So I've learned over the years how to pull myself away from dealing with that aspect. I've learned so much about myself just writing a letter to myself, trying to understand what I need from myself as a client, because now I take that information and I look at clients that I have and I'm like, you know what, I'm not doing a good job for you because there is no connection. Even though my ability is strong, the overall connection is not there. So I can say to them, I don't think it's a good fit, or maybe you should start, or maybe you should move on from that, because now I do have a strong focus. And that's another reason why I've changed the 8x10 design logo so much. Oh my God, I think I've looked at it, almost like a hairstylist. If they'll change their hairstyle different ways, from how they look. And I know I have not pushed that brand out. I mean, people understand it from the work that I do. Not enough, but enough. And so I've decided the one that I have now, it is generic. That probably will change again as I get into what I have for that, because I've kind of taken 8x10 design and separated from Duchess Robinson, where it was just 8x10 design, and then I have all these other organizations under it. So it's a switch now. I am the main tree of these branches now. So Duchess Robinson is no longer the subsidiary of 8x10 Designs. 8x10 Designs is now the subsidiary, because that is my business to business portion. Yeah, you really have to do that, and when you're changing stuff. And then as the CEO of Black Girls Hair Rock, and where I want that to go, that is another. I've changed the logo on that one time, and that was because I thought the color was too dull, and it did not push and prod. I wanted an imagery, and at some point, I may change the imagery, I may not. But the imagery was specifically to show the different variety of black women and that it was global. So it's a global. So I have some, I can change and manipulate that a little bit more. Black men in fashion, it's another. I've come up with different brands. The latest one I'm working on now is the CNRP, Community Network Resource Project. These are smart TV projects to help launch African Americans and entrepreneurs into media distribution, pushing and prodding that throughout the internet. The reason why I did that is because I one time Googled hip hop, and when I looked at it, it did not represent hip hop. It represented something else. It represented something else that someone has complete control of and not ourselves. So it's telling an alternate fact or alternate story. And I somehow said, you know what? We got to change that. That's got to be different. So I have a lot of little business models which on their own terms are making money. Always have more than one. I think there's so many. Look at Mark Zuckerberg. He got Facebook, he got Instagram, and he got some other stuff. I mean, even if you're successful at something, you have to be sure you can be able to handle it. But one of the things that I've been specifically working on this year is moving to do with all of the things, my sensitivity as a graphic designer and artist and whatever else. These are the different businesses that I want to concentrate on. And yes, they make their own money differently. Therefore, my business-to-business model, 8x10 design, is literally taking a back seat. However, the logo dealt with dealing with business-to-business model. So I'm in conversations with myself as a client. Do I really want to stay on here because I'm having a greater success not dealing with other people outside of that? So is that something that I want to do? Do I want to continue to go back, or as we spoke about it in previous podcasts, do I want to keep it? Do I want to keep it as business to business, or do I want to highlight a business, highlight all of it? Well, Duchess Robinson is going to do that. So this is the conversation that I have with myself about business and what I want to relay to people. So do I want to keep 8x10 designs as business to business? And if I do, I would really need to put a recommendation, because then I can determine if I want to work with you or not. Because like I've said in one of the previous podcasts, I don't want to be caught up in some of the things I've been caught up as a business owner, such as people grabbing me to be in their business or their vision, or think I was put on this earth just for their vision. And do I want to deal with the headache of people not listening to the advice I'm giving? And then it just, I'm not. So those are the conversations that I have with myself about a particular business. And I'm really thinking about just really having a conversation about just being, recommendation based, or who recommended you. That way I can see, and believe it or not, people recommended you that you had a terrible time with at some point, and you go, oh no, because at some point in time you let them go, well, she this and she that, but she might be good for you. And then, well, I don't know why she said that. I don't want to deal with that. I generally don't want to deal with that. And that way you can say, okay, if I did some work and somebody else in that group will say, well, I was looking at the stuff that you were doing for this and I didn't particularly agree with them, but I would like to work with you. I mean, you have things like that occur. So, again, why did I change all those logos? It reflects where I want the business to go and to grow. And I've had them on, the websites are put together. Here's the funny thing, and I have them on maintenance mode. I haven't released no emails, I haven't did anything. That's the funny thing. So, at this point, I'm really, really, really deciding to redo them. And I have to the first of the year. I need to shake myself off from outside projects, and that's another thing. I can't focus on myself if I have too many other people and then they're slow what they want to do, because once I speak to them, they realize that they're not in the direction that they need to, and it becomes a longer project than I want it to be. So I'm trying not to take any more than that, because then I realize I've taken on so many because so many people want. And at that time in business, I really, when you're dealing in business and you have bills due, so you take on more so you can cover. I realize at this point in time, and it's been a long journey, figuring it out. It really has. The ups and downs and everything else like that. I just don't want to deal with people. I really don't. Honestly. Some people, yeah. And that's anything. But I've gotten into the business of really developing. So basically, let's just go back into what I was saying and why I changed the logo. It's a situation of emotional responses, where I am with the business, what I want to communicate to other people who see the business. I wanted to take a complicated situation and make it simple for people to understand who I am. That way, that turns into a better conversion of things that you need to have done. Like, I know I want, like on Black Girls Hair Rock, and give you an example. That website is specifically for people to see pictures. I have no real direction on there. It's just to see pictures. I've taken selling things off of there because that's a nightmare, specifically dealing with the COVID and all of that crazy stuff. So I completely took that off of there. I thought about creating a marketplace for Black women to sell. I may or may not go to that, but as of right now, I will determine probably in the next couple of weeks where I want to take Black Girls Hair Rock, because it's just, right now, it's just almost like, people looking at stuff and they can see it on social media and how the numbers and stuff like that. It's really set up on almost like a demo mode, like a demo of what it is, and really not engaging and having people coming back and forth like I want to. So that is a thought process of what is the end goal for that. I mean, I've changed the logo based on, something for just getting everything out. I may completely wind up changing it and direct it into something else. I don't know. But at this point in time, it has a lot of followers. I think we're at 667,000 followers, 416. We're waiting for the blue tick for that. And there's nothing going, other than people looking at the videos and the pictures and stuff like that. But I really want to get people involved in other stuff, and that will be my next thought process, specifically when I write it down. Black Men in Fashion, I've kind of put that on the side for now. My son has been posting on there different things, but a direction that I wanted to go is next. For that, as soon as you come to the website, what is supposed to happen, what's supposed to be done, that's where I am with Black Men in Fashion. I have my foodie love. I have not dealt with that. And I'm telling you all of the things that are on my mind, because a lot of people are dealing with the same things, and to hear what could be the next level of things. And that's where I am now. Me being my own client, it's me focusing on taking everything on the next level. I've transitioned. Transition is the start of the next level, and what can go on beyond that. So that's the thought process that I have. But I thank you all for listening. The next discussion that we'll talk about is specifically understanding, and this is from a client that have been ripped off, and understanding, what things cost, what you're supposed to do, because it's basic and minimum stuff that it's not being addressed in the community of people of color when it comes to internet marketing and website development, and what you get and what is not, and what you're supposed to do, and not being taken advantage of, and understanding what you're getting. And I've thought about just creating a discussion group, which I will probably do. I think I'm to the point on Facebook where I can charge $4.99 or more. I just did it at that low, where people can ask questions and I can give them questions, answer questions for them. So that'll be the next podcast that we talk about. Again, thank you for listening.